Here today in a replay cast of a ranked game at rank 6, played in the Grosser Kurfürst, sorry, of that, here on the map north. At the time I had noticed, but apparently I am playing against Mejash, so we will see what we can do here. Anyhow, just hopping right into the replay. So I spawned over on the left side here. It's triple BB, triple cruiser, and one destroyer. And so on this side, I'm just going to head over to B cup over here. Slowly getting into position. What should have happened here is that the minnow probably should have came with me to cap because he's the stealthiest ship after the Harugumo. He doesn't really need to stay with the Haru. The booster can go with him and that should be sufficient. So myself and the Minotaur here probably should have gone over to B. But that didn't end up happening because, well, it's ranked. Sometimes you don't have teammates. And so it ended up being myself and the Stalingrad. So at the beginning of the match here, we're just getting into position. I'm just going to swing my guns over for this gap over here. And if you switch into free cam for a second. So my guns are trained over here at this gap. And so at this point, I'm just looking to take any posh that's available to us. We don't have any information about the deployments yet because there's no carrier. So the reason why it's kind of poor for myself and the Minotaur ones to be taking this gap is because we don't, well, we have the vision control tool in the Stalingrad with his 12 km radar. We're both spotted from well outside of 12 and spotted at 14.3. He's spotted from quite a bit outside of that. And so if any cruiser, such as their Des Moines or Minotaur, pushes up, or the Daring pushes up, so we see a smoke here, so the minnow is in the gap. So yeah, you can see we're spotted well beforehand. So the minnow opens up on the Stalingrad, the decap, takes Stalin, chunks him for a little bit. I take a speculative shot. Hoping the citadel, this guy here, he's full broadside. He does, however, slow down and dodge the majority of my shells. So we only get 2k there, but that's fine. Now I myself am sliding into the gap. Getting fired upon, of course, so I'm angling away already as I turn my guns. Taking some fire is okay, but the problem here is that we're both constantly spotted, so we're not going to actually be able to take this cap. So if we try and slow down and stay in the cap, as if you notice here, as the Stalingrad is doing, there's no feasible way for us to actually take the cap, and as long as we stay in range without leaving and evading from the cap, we're going to keep getting fired upon, and as you can see, the Stalingrad's already taken a good hefty chunk of damage, about 20,000 here, a little more than that. And so at this point, I'm still detected. I burned my repair earlier when I was on fire because I was briefly undetected, but the Daring appears to have popped out of his smoke, and so he's spotting us again. So at this point, there's no point staying undetected, but it keeps ticking down the cap to like 4 or so seconds, but we keep getting reset at that point. So at that point, we're just forced to leave from the cap. So if you've seen the chat here, I make the decision, or make the call, ask Stalingrad to leave the cap. So I'm abandoning the cap because it's untenable for us to keep staying here. Here the Conqueror's broadside. I'm just shooting at all the targets of opportunity. So my team has managed to take Z cap, so we're 1 cap to 1 cap, so it's fine that we don't have this B cap, or we can come back for it later when it's safe. The important thing now is to get into a safe position where we can mitigate damage until our teammates push up and we can collapse from 2 sides. Minotaur shows himself, pretty risky position here. This guy's lucky I'm not a more accurate battleship, because otherwise I would probably be able to punish him. But in this case, my shells go wide. Someone else does slap him a fair amount, it's demonstrating how probably, I'm guessing the Montana or Stalingrad? It's kind of hard to say. But my point is, this guy over here is taking a very risky position in any sort of cruiser, especially a Minotaur for large citadel. You can't really take that position. Ooh, getting some frame drop. So, Des Moines pops up. He's full broadside as well. He's angling away, so you can see him turning out on a mini-at. but I led the shot by aiming kind of above him. So instead of going straight for waterline, like aiming here, I aimed kind of above his nose. Taking fire. So the Henry shows himself finally. Finally opens up in the Stalingrad. Well, actually we saw him earlier, but he was kind of too far away. Still taking shots at targets of opportunity. The Conqueror continues to be broadside, so I'm going to continue taking chunks out of him. Only overpens on that salvo, unfortunately, and the Henry is being annoying. So the Henry has a speed boost on. You can see from the big puff of black smoke above his funnel. But it's alright. The GK has fairly good shell speed, so I'm not too concerned. See there, I can chunk him whenever I touch him. So he's covered in 25mm armor, besides that 30mm strip that most of the tier 10 cruisers have on the deck casemate and such. So as long as I can touch him, I can hit him. So what I'm doing here is looking, he's not dodging that well. He is attempting to do the start-stop speed dodging or speed tanking, but he's not doing it very well. So what I'm doing is just firing in staggered salvos with my front guns and back guns. With my back guns, I'm kind of leading him as if he's going to slow down, and with my front guns, I'm leading him as if he's going to speed up. There, he's finally pulling away. He took enough damage from me. Taking a couple of pot shots at him to want to disengage. Oh, up in the north, Mejash in the Daring manages to outfight my Harugumo. Presumably, he's just taking small fights with him while continuously outspotting him, while the Des Moines probably shot at him. And so together they're able to dispatch him. So this is obviously bad. That puts us down a ship. My team, however, is slowly creeping through the middle. So it's time to get ourselves back into the fight. We pulled away from the cap earlier when we were drawing aggro, but the enemy's team's focus has definitely shifted over to this cluster over here. It's only 1 or 2 ships focusing me. So again, we're looking at targets of opportunity. The Conqueror is still in the same bloody spot. There's also a low HP Yamato here who probably took chunks from my Yamato. Conqueror pops up again, still broadside. Shoot him again. Not aiming for the waterline here because I'm not expecting the Citadel to conquer. Just aiming for the upper middle belt and trying for these consistent big salvos. When you're playing the Conqueror, you have to be aware that even though you have the super heal and good stealth, you're fairly squishy. So while you can give side and expect not to get Citadel, it's important to stay on the move. Yeah, the Conqueror is not that accurate at range, but sitting still here like this while occupying a good spot, that's more of a job for a more heavily armored ship such as, say, the GK or the Kremlin. Now the Kremlin wouldn't be able to give that much side while staying in one spot, and neither should the GK, but the point is if you're going to occupy space like this, you should be playing probably a different ship here. That's more the role of one of the tankier BBs. The Conqueror probably just needs to play as an oversized cruiser. Stay a little further back. Honestly, if I were him, I'd probably make a full turn, come around, and farm the Yami. He should also be shooting... well, actually, I don't know what he's shooting, to be honest. Take a look around. Looks like he was farming Yamato, which is fine. The Yamato is encroaching on his territory. But he was doing so while giving me tons and tons of free shots here, so still chunking him, just trading fire at medium range. So the GK kind of struggles to hit targets at this range already. It's not great, but versus battleship size targets who are just sitting there, even a GK can perform. So just taking pot shots, occupying space. Honestly here I should probably already be pushing up and supporting my team. My team's kind of getting chunked out without me. But I'm in a pretty safe spot to farm damage. But in retrospect, I should probably have pushed up to like about here so I can aggress better on the Minotaur and Yamato. Again, another big salvo into the Conqueror. He's getting pretty low now. Finally, he starts to pull away, but it's pretty much too late. If any of my cruisers fire at him, he's going to die. My Minnow's holding the corner. I take a shot. My Minnow also takes a shot. And fortunately, we're able to finish him off before I can pop any of his heals. Now we still have 2 guys on the corner, and we can see here that the Daring, Mejash over here, is capping C. But there's nothing we can do about that. Whisper pops his radar. It lights up the Yamato and the Minnow, so we're going to take a shot. taking a light hit here from the Yami, but it's not a huge deal. Still plenty of health to work with. Excuse me, just pop a heal. Make sure because I have the maximum amount I can heal, preserve my health. And now I'm slowly starting to push in. Those guys are low, so if they ever get spotted again, i.e. if the Yamato fires again from smoke and reveals himself, we'll just kill him. So Yamato reveals himself by firing, or is spotted by a Des Moines, one of the two. I can't tell. Looks like he's hard spotted by the Des Moines. So he should die here. Either the Des Moines shoots him up, he's pushing forward now, or my teammates here will shoot him up. But one way or another, he's gonna die. Minnow reversing into broadside into Des Moines, switches to AP. Oh, it wasn't even... Oh, it's not a Des Moines. Alright, I'm actively trolling. Well, my radar cruiser, who is on the side, punishes him in one salvo. It's great there. However, he pays for that with his life. The Henry burns him down, and the Yamato, both of them together, kind of focus him down. We know the Daring is crossing through, but there's nothing I can do about that. My job now here is to engage the Yamato and the Henry. So Henry's still playing at range, but as I said before, if you know what you're doing, you can take shots. So he's turning in now. So 17 kilometers. You can see he's speed boosting, so I give a fair bit of lead, and I fire a full gun salvo. So if he keeps going straight after making that turn, he's going to hit the shells. And there we have it. Clean kill. Nice 20k salvo. Now at this point, it's quite trivial. So I have my job, which is kill Yami, take A, and they have their job, which is chase Daring, take C. So one of them, because they're both cruisers, one of them should detach, probably the booster, honestly, because he has radar and hydro, and he should go for C, and the Minnow should come with me. He doesn't actually have to engage the Yami, I can take him by myself at this health, but all he has to do is screen for the Daring for me. So all he has to do is push up alongside, without ever exposing himself. So here, as the Yamato, so the Yamato decides to push in. I detect him with my hydro, which I pop just to get some vision. In his position, I probably would have just reversed out. I start with HE loaded, because he's almost guaranteed to not be at a good angle for AP, no matter where I spot him. But I switch over to AP, once I realize that he's close enough for me to run down. So I switched over to AP. I know I'm only going to get one salvo on a pass, so I'm not looking to ram or get rammed here, so I'm going to give him a fair amount of side to guarantee that he can't ram me. If I'd taken a more conservative angle towards him, he could possibly have rammed me there. So because I'm giving quite a bit of side, he chunks me for 20k, but that's not a huge deal. I'm a Yamato. I've pre-aimed my turrets, just waiting for the right moment, and when I'm confident I have a good angle with all my guns, one salvo does it. Easy dev strike. So the Daring was last spotted over here. I assume the booster popped his radar. Yes, he did. So I'm spotted. So I know he's watching me. So I'm still advancing on the cap. The Daring almost certainly is torping me. So because of that, after killing the Yamato, I just full stop in full vision. So I'm going full down, full down. He's shooting at me now. He knows he needs to, well, he's just trying to save his star, basically. He's trying to farm damage. I'm fully stopping. My hydro's still ticking, so I can both spot the torpedoes at range, and I've already anticipated he's going to torp. There are the torpedoes now. They're going to sail right past my bow because I stopped in time. Just got to think about what the destroyer is going to do. So I'm going to wait for these torpedoes to sail past. In the meantime, I have HE loaded for the Daring. Just keep taking my pot shots. My secondaries are popping off at him, but I don't really expect him to be doing that much. I'm a full tank spec with just secondaries on the module. On the slot 3, instead of aiming systems, I've taken secondary module because it doesn't make a huge difference on the GK, to be quite frank. And so after dodging that salvo and letting him slide past my nose, I push right in. My hydro fades, but my Minnow's beside me now to escort me. And at this point, the game's already been won. Nice, simple tanking job. The important kills there were the Henry. So with the Henry there, I was just trying to take ranged pot shots. So any battleship, as long as you're not throwing off your aim too much, eventually you can hit cruisers even at range. Just throw enough lead at them, and the GK will sometimes reform. I got lucky on the one shot there, but the whole point there was to just push him away and chunk him out, so we did our job. Here I'm going to take the torp, and I'll probably just tank it here. There's no need to damage control it. There's almost certainly no way the Darren can kill us outside of some very random lucky detonation. And there you have it. Nice clean win. Overall, just a very conservative. Let me reopen my client. Overall, just a very conservative game. Maybe overly conservative, so we swung over to B cap at the beginning of the match, but we weren't able to take it because we didn't deploy our forces properly. So because of that, we had to kind of stall out and wait for our team to come back to us. So then we just sat at the back, stayed angled. We are a GK, but nevertheless, sometimes situations will demand that you play in a conservative manner, so we hung back and tanked for as long as we could. And then once the situation turned around and our team kind of redeployed back with us, we were able to turn around and we shot at the right targets and pushed into the cap for a nice clean victory. And yeah, that's that. A quick rank 6 game. Playing at rank 5 has been a bit of a struggle, kind of up and down, but we'll get back into it. Anyhow, hope you enjoyed.